And where did you complete your 3 work terms?
I completed my first 2 work terms on the trade floor at Scotia in prime brokerage and foreign exchange. And then I completed my final one at TD Securities with the government finance team.
And where do you work now and what do you do there?
I'm currently an associate with the debt capital markets team at TD Securities.
How do you feel your work terms helped you get to where you are today?
So my work terms allowed me to gain valuable work experience and also grow a network in Toronto that ended up allowing me to secure a full-time offer post-graduation.
Do you find that you learned anything on your co-op terms that you couldn't have learned in a classroom setting?
Of course. So the lingo that we often use in the financial world can be quite complex. So learning terms like bid-ask, lifting offers, or P&L, those are some terms that I never learned in the classroom, but are very commonly used on the job, and it was very important to learn those while working.
Great. And what would be your best advice for current Dalhousie students to better prepare themselves for highly competitive interviews, especially the technical aspects that can be involved in capital markets?
So firstly, I think it's important to be yourself. You need to show the character that you have and what you're bringing to the table. Then, honestly, yes, you need to be well in tune with some of the questions that they're going to ask you. But I think the most important part, and it worked very well for me, was to always show my thought process. If I didn't know a question, I asked a question back to kind of understand where the interviewer was going with the question, which allowed me to show my curiosity and my willingness to continue learning even though I might not know a concept.
Right, thank you. So what skills did you find you were able to develop during your 3 co-op terms that are still relevant today as you're in your work as an associate in debt capital markets?
So some of the skills I learned were definitely interpersonal skills that continue to help me communicate with my colleagues and clients. But I think during my work term, I really developed a work ethic. Working very early in the morning and being able to show up always ready. It takes time as we transition as a student into the workplace.
So I know that the finance sector can be very concentrated in Toronto in Canada. What advice would you have for Dalhousie students who are seeking co-op terms or post-grad work here in Toronto when they're coming from Nova Scotia?
So I actually did a trip during the summer after my first year out west. On my way home back out east, I did a layover here in Toronto for a night, and I actually had set up a couple meetings with some recruiters. And I ended up meeting a recruiter that was very instrumental and helpful in the application process for my first work term. And, I ended up getting an offer with that firm. And so I think, coming to visit the city, setting up some networking meetings could be really impactful to get your foot in the door.
Great. Yeah, that's really good advice. Thank you so much, Aaron, for taking the time to share your story coming from Dal through your co-op terms to now working full-time at TD Securities. I'm sure all of your advice and insights will be very helpful for current and future Dal students.
It's my pleasure.